My name's Nasreen Ali. I'm the chairperson of CCG and I help organise and run the food bank. My job role involves organising the food, getting the people to sign the login form and also distributing the food to the people in a fair quantity for everybody. The setup with CCG Food Bank is originally it was Food Bank on wheels where we would have the food in the van. We would park up on the street and then people would line up and come and take the food. We're now based in Pollock Community Centre every Monday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We have all the food laid out. The people come, they sign the form and give us the bags, and what we do is put the food into their bags according to how many people are living in that family. We work in partnership with Hawar Project. We've done work with the Salvation Army, we've done work with the City Council, we've got the social work department as well, so there's quite a few people that we work in partnership with. What we do is if the social work department phone us up and inform them that there's a family who have just been made homeless, they're living in homeless accommodation and they require food, we will then deliver the food to that family. With Hawar Project, because they also do a food bank, we deliver food to them and they're able to distribute it out. I think the reason why more people are reliant on food banks is because to do with the austerity measures being sanctioned. It could be for the slightest reason where they've been 5 minutes late getting to the appointment. Could be due to bus, could be due to children being ill. Next thing is there's been sanctioned, they're not going to get no money for between 6 to 12 weeks. People who are even working on zero contract, low wages, they either pay the bills, the mortgage, or put food on the table. So there's a variety of reasons. Well, on Monday and Wednesday we do it on Monday Pollock Community Centre, on Wednesday in Darnley Community Centre. People would come to us and take a food parcel. We only deliver if it's done through the social work department, Hamish Allen Centre or Money Matters. Then and then only do we deliver a food parcel to a family who's been forwarded on to us by any of the groups. Well, first thing what we do is ascertain how many people are living in the house. So if there's one person, we'll give accordingly to one person living in the house. If there's family, then we'll give according to a family. So somebody who's got 3-4 children will probably put more vegetables and more fruit into it. If somebody's got baby, then when we do have baby food, we'll put baby food into it and find out how old the baby is, if the baby food is okay for them. So it's usually worked out according to how many people are living in the house and how much they get. Our food supply comes from Costco 3 times a week, which is Sunday, Monday and Wednesday. Shaw Trust, which is on Wednesday. We have people who are now coming in and dropping off bags of food to go towards a food bank. We've had cash and carries that have rang us up and says we've got X amount of food, can you please come and pick it up? But the majority of it comes from Costco and Shaw Trust. CCG itself has been established for 2 years, but the centre itself has been running for 7 years. The food bank has been running now for a year. We've been, on average, been able to give out food, at least 500 food parcels per week to people who need it. It's quite difficult to emotionally detach yourself from people, because when you're talking to these people and you look them in the eyes and you're giving them food parcels and you hear their stories, it can be quite upsetting at times. We've had many stories about a single mother with 3 children who, due to the austerity measures, been sanctioned because her child was ill, she was late getting to the job centre to sign on. Another story where a woman whose husband left her and walked out, 4 children, absolutely no money but £1 in her purse. When she was just about to walk out the door, we had a call that telling us about this lady had taken a food parcel up to her house. She then opened the door and couldn't believe, and she was in floods of tears because she had absolutely no food in the house. She was about to go buy a loaf of bread to feed the children their tea. I think when we hear stories like, when we see people like this, it can be quite upsetting. So what we tend to do is regroup and emotionally sort of pick each other up, talk about it, get it out of our system, have a good cry, and prepare ourselves ready for the next week. I think the only upside of it is that at least we are able to help these people who are in desperate need of food. And I think that's what keeps us going.
My name is Elizabeth Haney. I've been using the Foodbank for about 2 years now, but mainly I've been volunteering at it as well as using it, because I started using it and then went straight on to volunteering practically right away. I used to work and then I became pregnant. I had been sterilised for 6.5 years. Didn't get maternity leave because I didn't work there long enough. I was 3 weeks away from it, so it was I took not well during that pregnancy as well. And it was a food place that I worked in, so I couldn't continue to work there. So sadly I had to leave. But they gave me a good reference and stuff like that. It wasn't in bad terms or anything like that. But anyway, and then we had to move house from where we were staying. And we moved to here and we had to start all over again. Because the houses that we were living in at the time were full of dampness. So all the furniture was ruined. So we've had to build this house up from scratch. And we haven't put a lot of money into this house. It's therefore not giving us as much money for food and stuff like that. So the food bank has helped us out in that sense, that it's helped me to get by some difficult times moving into a new house. And basically that's it. And I've never looked back, and I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for them helping me out. Foodbank isn't just for collecting food, you're right. It isn't, like I said, I volunteer. I actually do a coffee morning on a Thursday morning where the public can come in and have a chat, a cup of tea, cakes. It's dead informal, it's really relaxing at the job centre. And if they don't go to an appointment, they get sanctioned. Therefore they lose their money, and this tends to happen quite a lot. So I think that needs to be looked at and addressed, and the government need to think about the people who have no skills. And then of course there's people that suffer mental health issues as well, and then there's the old folk. They just don't get enough money, and they suffer because of their bills and etc, etc. It's just too much. Their life, the money that they get and the cost of living is so expensive, and there's so much competition with so many shops that it doesn't matter where you go, it's still expensive. The advice I would give someone who needed to access a food bank is don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's there. It's a service that's there to be used if needed. And don't hold back, because you'll make great friends in the process. And don't let your kids suffer just because you're embarrassed. It's not right.
I'm Bernadette Stewart and I'm a Service Coordinator for Social Work in Paisley. Well, there has been a big increase in people using food banks now. I don't know exactly the kind of percentage, but I know over the past few years it's definitely increased. Years ago there was very little people who used it in food banks, but now it's quite commonplace for people to be referred for food banks. Well, I think there's all different types of people are now referred on. People that are on benefits, maybe their benefits are being stopped or delayed. People on very low incomes as well. A lot of working poor now use the food banks. People maybe in zero-hour contracts or maybe right on the minimum wage.
My job role's very wide expanding. It's a lot more than it was when I first started the food bank. But, you know, logistically my job is to run the project on a daily basis, working alongside the board of directors, just to ensure that the projects ran effectively and efficiently. The setup with Greater Mental Health Food Banks is a wee bit more different from other food banks. We're independently ran, we're ran for the community by the community. We're a needs-led service. We provide emergency food provision for people in crisis situations. Our primary aim is obviously to feed people, but our secondary aim is to signpost individuals onto other services that might be of help to them and prevent them from getting into crisis again. We work very closely in partnership with 22 organisations within Greater Mira Hill. They vary in who they are. They can be churches, they can be community councils, they can be the major housing associations, a variety of different people. Mostly our partners are organisations that see vulnerable people on a daily basis. Out of the 22 partners that we have, 18 of them refer people for food, and we tend to choose that on the basis of who would see the most vulnerable of society and who's most available to give out the referrals, again, so that we're making sure that we're providing a needs-led service. I'll give you an example of that because I think examples are very good in situations like this. Mira Hill Integration Network are a very, very, very effective integration network in Glasgow. Although they're based in Mira Hill, you know, if we have asylum seekers coming into the country quite recently, they tend to come in Mira Hill Food Bank first. So what I would do is obviously get them food provisions organised, but I would directly phone Mira Hill Integration Network and have them referred so that their next visit would be to the Integration Network where they can provide extensive support and assistance to asylum seekers. I was born and bred in Mira Hill, so I've never lived anywhere else, and the difference in the communities from then to now is very different. I've watched my community be dismantled through poverty for 10-15 years. Mira Hill Food Bank has been recognised for building that community spirit back up. Certainly, you know, I was very, very keen when we opened that this would be an open door project where the door would always be open, maybe not so much in the winter, but certainly we're open Monday to Saturday, and I wanted that because I wanted members of the public to be able to come in, be part of it, have a cup of tea, have a chat, because that sometimes is how you get people to admit that they need help. It's just by having an open door, and when they come in, you know, they're greeted and meted by people who genuinely have a concern for the welfare of others. And from feedback from service users, that is what they get when they come in here. It's not a case of there's your bag, see you later, good luck. It's a case of come on in for a cup of tea, let's have a wee chat. I never assume when somebody comes to that door that they want food. I assume somebody's coming to that door because they maybe want a chat because they don't have a good social circle of people. So it's very much about building up in this community and pulling it back together, and I feel Greater Mira Hill Food Bank has done a very good job in the starting of that, and it'll be many years of hard work, but at least we have been the catalyst for that to happen.